Today, Adopt Me is one of the most popular games on Roblox. Its purpose now is simple. You trade pets, take care of your pets, earn in-game currency, and collect more pets. Millions of players log in daily to hatch eggs, build inventories, and chase the next rare item. But not many players stop to ask an important question. Who remembers the time when Adopt Me was just a roleplay game? Before legendary pets, neon values, and trading servers, Adopt Me was built around imagination. You didn't join the game to trade or flex rare items. You joined to roleplay as a family, attend school, run cafes, or create stories with friends. There were no pets, no eggs, and no complex economy, just players and creativity. So how did Adopt Me transform from a simple roleplay experience into one of Roblox's largest virtual economies? Why did pets change everything? And how did values evolve to the point where some items are now considered priceless, while others were completely forgotten? In this video, we are going to break down how the release of pets skyrocketed Adopt Me's popularity, why roleplay slowly faded into the background, and how pet and item values changed over time. This isn't just about nostalgia alone. It's about understanding how one update reshaped an entire game and its community. Flowers swaying in the wind. When Adopt Me first launched, its core identity was roleplay. Players could choose to be babies, parents, or caretakers, and the entire map was designed to support storytelling. The school, hospital, neighborhood homes, and town center all encouraged interaction between players. Progress wasn't measured in rarity or inventory size. Instead, progress was social. It was about building families, forming friendships, and creating scenarios together. Players spent hours in the game without needing rewards because the fun came from imagination. At the time, Adopt Me was popular. It had a loyal community, mostly made up of players who enjoyed roleplay-focused games. There was no competitive pressure and no hierarchy based on items. Everyone had access to the same tools, and creativity was the main currency. This version of Adopt Me appealed to a specific type of player, but it also had limitations. Without long-term progression systems, many players would eventually leave and move on to other games. That's where pets came in, and everything changed. When Adopt Me first introduced pets, it marked a turning point unlike anything the game had seen before. Pets added something the game previously lacked: a long-term progression loop. Suddenly, players had goals: hatching eggs, raising pets, and collecting different rarities. Pets created emotional attachment. Players didn't just roleplay anymore, they cared about their pets. Feeding them, leveling them up, and aging them created a sense of responsibility and accomplishment. This system made players want to stay longer and come back daily. The rarity system amplified this effect. Common, uncommon, rare, ultra-rare, and legendary pets introduced excitement and unpredictability. Every egg hatch became a moment of anticipation. That randomness made pets feel valuable even before trading existed. As more pets were added, the game gained massive replay value. New players joined hoping to get rare pets, while returning players stayed to complete collections. The pet update didn't just add content, it added purpose. This is when Adopt Me's player count began to explode. The game became accessible to casual players, collectors, and younger audiences who enjoyed caring for pets without needing roleplay skills. Pets transformed Adopt Me from a niche roleplay game into a mainstream Roblox experience. Trading fundamentally changed how players interacted with pets and with each other. Once trading was introduced, pets stopped being just companions and became assets. Value replaced attachment. players began comparing pets, ranking rarities, and creating unofficial value lists. Social interaction shifted from roleplay conversations to trade negotiations. Servers became marketplaces instead of neighborhoods. This shift wasn't accidental. Trading gave players a reason to grind, strategize, and compete. It also created social status. Owning rare pets became a symbol of experience and success, which further fueled demand. Over time, roleplay naturally declined, not because it disappeared, but because it was overshadowed. New players entering the game often never experienced roleplay-focused Adopt Me. For them, the game had always been about pets and trading. The original purpose of Adopt Me slowly faded into the background, replaced by an economy-driven playstyle that rewarded efficiency and creativity. In the early days of trading, values were simple. Legendary pets were rare, but not untouchable. Over time, scarcity became to define worth. Pets that left the game, limited eggs, event pets, or seasonal items, became increasingly valuable. Neon and Mega Neon pets added another layer of value. Suddenly, rarity wasn't just about the pet itself, but the effort required to create upgraded versions. Time investment became just as important as luck. Community perception also played a huge role. Some pets gained value because influencers showcased them. Others dropped in value due to overpopulation or re-releases. Value was no longer fixed. It was social and constantly changing. Items followed a similar pattern. Toys, vehicles, and strollers that were once common became collectibles simply because they were no longer obtainable. Meanwhile, newer items sometimes struggled to gain value despite being harder to obtain. This evolving economy kept players engaged, but also changed the tone of the game. Adopt Me became less about play and more about strategy. For some players, this made the game more exciting. For others, it made it feel more stressful or competitive. The truth is, Adopt Me didn't stop being a roleplay game. It just stopped being known for roleplay. As the player base grew, newer systems dominated attention. Pets, trading, and updates became the face of the game. New players weren't wrong for seeing Adopt Me this way. They simply entered during a different era. Over time, collective memory shifted. What once defined the game became a footnote in its history. This happens to many long-running games. They evolve to survive, and in doing so, they leave parts of their identity behind. Adopt Me didn't lose its roots. It outgrew them. So why did Adopt Me become so popular? Because pets gave players purpose, progression, and emotional investment. And why did people forget it was once a roleplay game? Because success reshaped the experience into something much larger than what it originally was. Adopt Me today is a reflection of its community, its history, and its evolution. Whether you play for nostalgia, trading, creativity, or collecting, the game's impact on Roblox is undeniable. If you remember the roleplay days, that version of Adopt Me still exists in memory, and in the way the game was built. And if you join later, understanding its past gives context to why the game is the way it is today. Let me know in the comments, do you miss old Adopt Me, or do you prefer how it is now? Thanks for watching, bye!